Ionic bonds are one of the two types of chemical bonds learned about in general chemistry. Ionic bonds, they're distinguished from covalent bonds by there being an electron transfer. While that's not necessarily 100% true, because there is a small amount of covalent character to ionic bonds, we generally think of them as an electron transfer, and the bond being the electrostatic attraction between the two atoms. So this example is chlorine and sodium. I've drawn Lewis structures where a Lewis structure is basically just showing the valence electrons for this element. So for chlorine there are 7 valence electrons, so I've drawn 7 dots around them. For sodium there is 1 valence electron, so I've drawn 1 dot. And if an ionic bond takes place, sodium gives up its electron to gain an octet. Chlorine gains an electron to gain an octet. And here I have drawn sodium's electron attached to chlorine and sodium with no electrons. Now what is bonding these two things is the negative charge from the anion and the positive charge from the cation. These two things are drawing together and they'll end up forming a solid like this, where this green one will be chlorine, this will be sodium. It's not really drawn to scale because these will be very tightly packed together, where these smaller sodium cations will kind of fit in between the grooves of where these chlorines are, but I can't really draw that well, and plus I just wanted to show how it's set up. It's set up in a cube-like structure. And as I said, it's important to remember that it's not completely an ionic bond. The electron is not completely transferred over. This is the easiest way to think about it. There is still a small amount of covalent character. The chlorine is going to have more than electrons than it should, but since it has such a high affinity for electrons, it's still able to exist as a chlorine anion without sodium. But when the sodium is present, it's able to take a little bit of pressure off of chlorine's nucleus, because there's more negative charge than it should be. So there's a tiny bit of covalent character, and also it helps to stabilize the sodium a little bit as well, although plenty of times it's seen without any anions to help it out. But this existence is slightly more stable than it would be if each anion and cation were just existing independently on its own. So that is why there is an ionic bond.